AR-10 represents a historic milestone in small arms progress.
A new rifle has been issued to Special Forces, airborne and air mobile troops of the Army, and to other military forces of the United States. The XM16E1 is a 5.56 millimeter or caliber .223 shoulder weapon.
The result of highly specialized research and development invites comparison with any other automatic weapon in the world.
Eugene was born in November the 22nd in 1922. He went into the Marine Corps. He worked on as a mechanic for the 50 caliber guns during World War II. Came out of World War II and worked in the aerospace industry type business. At that time, it was aerospace business right after World War II out in California. On October the 4th, 1954, Gene went to work for a company called Armalite. Gene came to Armalite with the idea of the gun that later became the first AR-10.
We're here in Titusville, Florida, and we're here to see what is thought to be the most rare collection in private hands of Eugene Stoner guns. From guns he built in his garage to the first AR-10s, AR-15s, on it to the revolutionary SR-25. It's a great tribute to what really is one of America's greatest gun makers. Now let's go meet Reed Knight. Reed, how you doing?
Good seeing you, Jack.
Thanks for having us.
Gene was a unique individual. He was very methodical. He had a mission and a belief, and he had seen so many different things happening in his lifetime that he became somewhat driven in trying to make the right things happen for the country.
Reed, thank you. We're here in Reed Knight's personal collection of Stoner guns, possibly the most complete collection. And I got to tell you, it's an honor to be here. I know a little bit about black guns, but I don't recognize what's on the table here. Could you tell me a little bit about it?
Sure. Gene Stoner went to work for Armalite in 1954. And before he went to work for Armalite, in his garage, he actually built this gun. This was his M7. And you can see it resembles that of a M1 Garand of the gun of the time at that time in 1954. But what is so unique is he built an aluminum receiver, he built a fiberglass stock, which was used, and he built a 8-lug bolt just like what's on the M16. This uses a piston system very similar to the Garand at that time.
So we have the first of what will become commonplace in his guns, the multi-lug bolt and the aluminum receiver.
Absolutely, and this was one of the very first guns that he did like that. The second gun here is what he called the M8, and this is the very first gun that he built in his garage also, which afforded him the royalties for the patent of the gas system that comes out of the side of the barrel and blows directly into the bolt carrier. The gas impingement system, which was the original AR-10 design, had a gas system that bled the gas pressure off the edge of the barrel up along the side of the receiver in a little tube, and then it blew into the bolt carrier, where inside the bolt carrier there was a piston.
So on this first AR-10, even though it doesn't look like an AR, we get all those traditional features that would come to be known with what we have here.
Right, it is, and this particular gun was his M7 and later became the AR-3. This was his M8 and later became an AR-10. Later, the AR-10As were the gun number 1, gun number 2, gun number 3, gun number 4, and gun number 5. As you can see, were pretty much all the same type of design, but they used aluminum upper receiver, aluminum lower receiver, has the same gas system along the side. uses now the very popular 308 cartridge and has fiberglass stocks on it, as you can see. Has a muzzle brake on the front of it. This particular gun is a quick change barrel with a bipod, but each one of those guns have muzzle brakes on them and conventional. This is pretty much the whole family of the very early original, of all places, Hollywood, California, Armalites that were basically built. These were the belt-fed guns and all the different variations. After they built the AR-10, then they built obviously the AR-15, which you have there behind you, this is the very first prototype AR-15. This later was an AR-10A that was also built. This is gun number 1 that was built in Hollywood, California again.
That's the first AR-15 ever produced.
Actually, this is the first prototype. That's actually the first gun that was ever produced. And then this gun number 4 was later converted to what Colt was going to manufacture. These are wooden handguards and the new type charging handle. They painted it. And then that gun is 00000, which is the very first gun built December the 24th, 1959 at Colt. He was not particularly motivated for financial rewards. He was not motivated for glory. He was not motivated for recognition. He was motivated for getting the job done and building a better mousetrap.
American Rifleman is brought to you by Midway USA, Smith & Wesson, Knight Rifles, Wheeler Engineering, Fine Gunsmithing Supplies, Springfield Armory, and Citron. We'll be right back with more American Rifleman TV, brought to you by Midway USA.